Whether it's helping others, sharing his word, or simply living a life that honors him, your service is a way of saying, "Thank you, Lord." And when you serve with gladness, you reflect his joy to the world, drawing others closer to his light. We are also called to enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. This is a beautiful image of coming into God's presence with a heart full of gratitude. Imagine walking through the gates of a majestic palace, bringing with you not complaints or worries, but thanksgiving and praise. When you thank God, you acknowledge his goodness and recognize that every blessing in your life comes from him.
Now I gotta take these slides off. Hello, hello. loud. This is quieter. Hey, why is there crumbs on here? Somebody's been eating on here. Probably one of my sons. Six o'clock alarm, good. You should be on time. If you're wondering why I have headphones on, if you're wondering why I have headphones on, it's because I want to be able to feel it and not so much just play it and have to listen to it. Come on, man. Paradiddles are pretty easy. Come on, bro. That's like one of the first rudiments you learn. That's loud. People usually do the molar thing with threes. I like doing it with threes and twos because if you can get the two-stroke molars, but really there's a guy named Kenwood Denard. He actually made that. They called it, which sounds kind of sus, the wood roll, because his name is Kenwood. It's kind of sus. I call it a two-stroke molar. But if you can kind of get the two-stroke molar, then you can get that push-pull, because they're very similar. One is just, and the other's just. This is a good exercise because it forces you to count. Those are called, I just know them as pyramids. Ah. Yeah, the guy, the guy who, he was like the music director for our church. I just kind of thought of it like what I'm doing, and he would see me practice. He was a drummer. He was a marching band drummer, and I just would kind of do it. And he was like, "Oh, pyramids." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we call those pyramids." I thought I was coming up with something new. Now, obviously, it's a marching band thing. Yeah, but yeah, it's pyramids. Like, I'm self-taught. I've never did marching band, never did anything like that. So a lot of the stuff that I think I'm coming up with, somebody else did it. So, oh well. Ah. Ah! I lost focus. Oof. Hello. Huh? I've been writing this song request for you to hear for some time now. What's the song request? Those 6-stroke rolls, if I'm doing this, I found like when your hands you guys gotta excuse me. I'm still food groggy. What do I play drums to? What do you mean? Like what genre? Whatever I'm kind of paid to play. You know. If they want me to play a polka, I'll play a polka. You know. And I'm not exaggerating, like really, whatever. You know, whatever. You know. I don't want to go through everything because it's just, you know, it's whatever. Whatever they pay me. You know. The only thing I pretty much haven't done is like polka. But I'm sure if I was asked to do it, Oh, you got arrested. Wow. No way. I wonder what for. Probably something superficial. Like a speeding ticket or something. Wait, oh, that's me. Why is it recommending my stream to me? But yeah, I try to, I try to get in at least 40 minutes of pad work every morning, you know. So that even if I don't play drums, which I'll end up playing drums, but even if I don't play drums, at least I've kept my hands warm and what have you. You know. Um, what? What did he say? Thank you, thank you. You know what? I'm glad you said that. Because that's always been my point. I've heard two people say this. I've heard Billy Cobham say it, and I heard a Cuban guy named Davnis Prieto, who's ridiculous, on drums. But he said the best drummers are great at snare. Like they just if you take a snare, if you take the kit away, and they're playing, just snare, like they're incredible at snare. And in hindsight, I saw this guy named Joey Navola, he was the first guy I saw in person live that could play anything. Joey Navola, I see Navola. It's Joey Navolo. Him and this guy named John Marchand. John was his teacher. I met Joey through him. John Marchand, I was just like a basic rock head, just rock and roll, just the basic stuff, Van Halen. This was back in the day. Van Halen, Bonham, Mitch Mitchell, Neil Peart, stuff like that. And, of course, Rush, Neil Peart, whatever. Carl Palmer. And he was the one who hit me to jazz fusion. He was probably like 25, and I was like 14. And he heard that I played drums. And, he would just drive around with this little black kid and turn him on to all kinds. He used to blow my mind, man. He blew my mind. I never forget that. I always thank him for that, man, because he didn't know me from a can of spray paint. He knew me from, like, my friend. He saw me around, and he heard I was a drummer, and he kind of took a liking to me, man, like just a little black kid that he didn't know from a can of spray paint. And he turned me on to so much stuff. Like, it opened my mind at such a young age, man. I really, I try to pass that on to other people, man, because I realized it sent me in a completely different direction musically. So, Raheem, my brother. Oh, thank you, man. He said, hey, man, you're a great drummer. Thank you, Jaden. What's poppin', Raheem, my man? What is your song request, dude? What are you talking about? Yeah. But it's good, man. Because really, it all starts with snare. And I'll say this. I always get questions. Yo, man, why does your snare sound so good? What kind? They think it's like some expensive snare. It's not. It's not an expensive snare. It's a snare from a Pearl export. And they don't even make exports anymore, but it's from a Pearl export. And it's, Evans, the Genera HDs with the little dots that go around it. No muffling, like basic muffling. It's got like some moon gel. But the snare doesn't come from the kind of snare you have. It comes from rim shots. I can make that sound like a snare. Just from rim shots. Um, ah. 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 Those are hard. Those transitions are hard because you're going from, it's an awkward start. I do that on purpose. It's hard because it's like your start. Of course you can. That's easy. This is hard. Or even when you go. Mm. Yeah. And it's harder. I try to make small movements. You know what I mean? I try to make really small movements. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know about accents and rebounds, but this book right here, Stick Control, this is a gem. If you know about accents and rebounds, I know you know about this one. It's by George Lawrence. Yeah. But accents and rebounds, I'm going to write that. I never heard that book. Come on, man, with the bad pens. There we go. I didn't even know he had another book. I know this one is oh, duh, it's right here. Duh. It's literally right there. Yeah, I got to get that one. Oh, it's designed to follow stick control. Yeah. I don't know who this George Lawrence Stone is, but this book is a secret weapon. I'm telling you. You play drums, this book right here is a secret weapon. And if you're trying to start recording, that's a good book right there too. Biggest mistake I've made in my life, getting involved in things I know I shouldn't have gotten involved in. And there are too many to list. I've gotten involved in some pretty hairy things, and they've led down to it. They've brought me, down a dark path. Whenever you're about to do something, and I know, Raheem, you're young, but if something is telling you, wow, this is exciting, the one side is like, yeah, and you kind of get that adrenaline rush of excitement, and the other voice deep down is like, you probably shouldn't do that. You're probably gonna get caught. That voice is always right. You're gonna get caught. I've gotten caught. I've been blessed to not, end up completely ruining my life. But yeah, I've been involved in some hairy stuff. When I say hairy stuff, I mean some hairy stuff. Hairy stuff. Stuff I'm like, it's pointless to mention, Put it this way. Carjackings, I've never gotten caught, but I know people who have gotten caught. I remember there was a girl, some dude stole a van, and one of the people, it was like him, another dude, and it was a pregnant girl, and the cops, gave chase. They chased them, and they ended up rolling the van. They ran, they pulled off and just bounced, and they crashed, and the two guys survived, but the pregnant girl died. Stuff like that, or a carjacking that goes wrong. You put a pistol in somebody's face and they're like, I'm not giving you my car. Now, that's kind of stupid, but so is putting a pistol in somebody's face. Now, if somebody bucks, it's either him or you, and if he's coming at you, he's gonna take your gun and probably shoot you, or it's you or him. Either you're gonna die or he's gonna die. I'm fortunate in that I've never, and that was kind of like a one-time thing, and after that, I never hung with that guy again. I was like, no, man, But yeah, man, I know dudes who, they did some crazy stuff, and I never saw them again. For all I know, they're still in prison. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You can play flams, bro. Jeg, you can play flams. It just takes practice. You know what I mean? Like, just start slow. Don't say you can't. Say you're not up to there yet. Because whenever you say you can't do something, you automatically write yourself out of your ability to do it. You can do it. Just takes practice, man. You know. If you go on my videos, my latest, I streamed yesterday. I streamed twice yesterday. My latest, what's the name of that? My latest short, YouTube short, I have on a Eat More Chicken shirt. Chick-fil-A. Evidently, last time I had on the ramen noodle shirt. I like food, but I had to Eat More Chicken shirt. You know, it's like a white shirt and it says Eat More Chicken. I'm doing like 4-way independent stuff. I never, you know, now it's not, I'm all over the place like an octopus, but it's the beginning. And I never, hold on guys, I want to make sure my son took the bus, didn't miss the bus. Yeah, he's good. But I never thought I could play 4-way independent stuff. But I never told myself I can't do that. Even though I always kind of thought I'll get there. You know what I mean? I'll figure it out one day, and I'll develop the skill to actually do it. And yesterday, I started messing around with it, and then it just, like, I literally, I was streaming. The only reason why I started streaming is because the idea of what I was trying to play popped in my head. And something was like, I think you can do it now. I think you can pull it off. So I tried it, and it was fumbly, and it was kind of sketchy. You know, and still a work in progress, but I was able to actually pull it off. And I think, personally, I think the reason why is because I never told myself I couldn't do it. You know. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, never tell yourself you can't do it. You know. And to be honest, man, you can do anything you want. Just start slowly. Everything is based on muscle memory and repetition. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, eventually you're going to get good at it. And like, this one guy, he's a mixed martial arts guy that he used to, you know, train me. When I had to do like physical rehab and stuff like that, he kind of, you know, he told me to bring the practice pad in, get some sticks so he could examine my playing technique. And he was the one who kind of revamped my whole technique because I had really bad carpal tunnel, just from years of bad technique. And he was like, it's like making your bed. He said, if your dad's like, go make your bed, at first it's going to take like 10, 15 minutes to make your bed because you're figuring it out. But the more you do it over time, that 10, 15 minutes, you know, and you might make your bed, and then your dad comes in and is like, nope, do it again. You know, and you try it again, and you're like, that corner, do it again. You know what I mean? But eventually, over time, that 10, 15 minutes, and then your dad walking in and saying, no, do it over, that cuts down to like 7 minutes, and that cuts down to like 5 minutes, and then that cuts down to like 3 minutes, and then it cuts down to, it's automatic. As soon as you wake up, you know, you're rubbing the crumb cake out your eyes, roll out of bed, and you make your bed up, go hit the shower. You know what I mean? It's just repetition. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you know, you eventually get it. And I'm a firm proponent of start slow and relaxed, because, you know, just trying to play like I used to be, it's too much energy trying to play fast, and it's just too much energy, you know what I mean? And it's a good way to hurt yourself. It's a good way to injure yourself. All that tenseness, it's just you know. And I used to be really bad. This is all finger technique. I couldn't do that for years. I just kept going. You know, because I knew eventually it'll get to, you know, it would get to that. So it's just repetition. When you feel yourself tensing up, stop. Shake it out. You know, start back. That's a good one. This is a good one. And if you can't do fives, it's okay. You can't do fives, you know. You'll get there eventually, you know. Flam taps are great for speed. Or even, because I got a bad habit of, try to make them sound like one. You know, because I still, you know, have problems making them sound like one. You know, and try to do things that'll challenge. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Try to do things that that challenge your playing. And I'll say this. I heard this from Chris Dave. If you don't know who he is, Google him. He revolutionized jazz and R&B drums. But he said if you always sound good, like if you know how you go to a place where they have different practice rooms and everything. It might be a hall and there's a bunch of rooms, like 5 rooms here, there's like 5 rooms there, and it's all drummers in there. You know what I mean? Or you might hear bands, whatever. He said, if you always sound good in your practice room, then you're not really doing anything. You're not accomplishing anything. You sound good. You always sound good because you're always playing the very thing you always play. You're not stretching yourself. You're not, you're not exploring. You're not trying to learn new things. When you try to learn new things, it's like walking. When babies are little, walking is new. Of course, they're falling around and bumping into chairs and falling over, but eventually they learn to walk, and eventually learn to run. It's like anything. When you're learning, you just, like with music, you sound horrible. I say all that to say, don't be afraid to sound horrible, even in front of people. Don't be afraid to sound horrible. People ain't perfect. None of us are perfect. So yeah, Porcupine Tree, yeah, he's alright. Gavin, I think his name is Gavin Harrison. Yeah. But yeah, man, don't be afraid. Or Thomas Hawk from Meshuggah. Thomas Hawk from Meshuggah. He's a beast. But yeah, y'all, if you guys don't know, ask someone. Ask another drummer. If they're worth their salt, they know who Thomas Hawk is from Meshuggah. Meshuggah, the band Meshuggah. Thomas Hawk. He's a beast. Yeah, I used to walk around with a pad and a backpack like this. La 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 la. And I'd switch hands. Walking down the street, with some headphones on or like earbuds or something. I did that for years. Even when I was like, kind of pretty much established. For a while up in the New York music scene, I was like a hired gun, which is basically they hire you to come in and play everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was a crew I used to hang with. There was 3 other dudes. Bassist, he was a hired gun. Percussionist, he was a drummer, but he switched to percussion since we started a band. He was a hired gun. And we had a dude who, he was like a ghostwriter. Like, he wrote people's raps. You know what I mean? Like, like famous people. He wrote their raps. So he was a ghostwriter. So we were all essentially hired guns. We got a house together. We got like a 6-bedroom house. And we had a big, one of the rooms was a big practice area. And even then, I would be walking around. This is in New York. And one day, the percussionist, my boy Ronnie, his sister was like, I see Mark all the time with that practice pad. You know what I mean? And implying that he looks goofy. And my boy Ronnie was like, yeah, but you've never seen him play. You need to hear him play, So don't be afraid to look stupid, man. You know what I mean? I don't care, man. I don't care how I look. I don't care if I make a mistake. Ain't nobody perfect, man. You know what I mean? And, that's why I post mistakes. I post stuff where I'm playing stuff and it's kind of sounding janky. I don't care, man. I don't care. You know, it's easy to just, because a lot of guys, what they do is on social media, the tendency is to put your best foot forward, to only show the good cuts. You know what I mean? So they'll find that 30-second clip, you know, and put that in there, or that 1-minute clip, you know, and they'll put that on there. They won't show them sounding like trash before or sounding like trash after. Or if it's a song, they won't show, like, I love videos where drummers they'll play something and it'll be nice, and then like at the end of the video they show all the flubs. Like, you know, this guy's doing this, and they'll show another clip and he's he might drop a stick, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool because it helps people to see, like, okay, this guy ain't perfect. He's not one shot homeboy, like, you know, he's not perfect. So, you know, I like that, man. You know, I don't mind looking shabby. You know, whatever. Every day. Every day. Chris Coleman, yeah. Oh, I've seen, I mean, okay. Chris Coleman, the thing about Chris Coleman is he, his time is, he's like, he sounds quantized. He sounds, it doesn't sound real. Like, his time is so solid, he sounds quantized. And I know it's not, because Chris Coleman, I'm in Metro Atlanta. Chris Coleman used to live here. Matter of fact, I live 7 minutes around the corner from Atlanta Institute of Music. He used to teach there. He used to teach because he was learning bass. And what you could do is, you could teach a class. In exchange, you could take another class. And what he did was, he taught drums in the drum department, and in exchange, he was learning bass. And I used to go up there all the time. He used to play at Creflo Dollar's church. It's a big mega church. I don't know, but the preacher's name is Creflo Dollar. He used to play at Creflo Dollar's church. He would have clinics all the time. And everything you see in videos, he does that live. Like, Chris Coleman is a beast. He is a monster. And he'll sit there and put on a talking metronome. That's why I use a talking metronome. I have an app that it's a talking metronome. But that's why I use a talking metronome, because of him. Like, he would sit there, I think he calls it like Polly or something like that, or Molly or something like that. Or Annie or something like that. He gave it a name. But he'll use a talking metronome. He'll talk and then just play different odd times and subdivisions and what have you over a metronome, and it'll be rock solid. And he'll play chopped and go back to pocket, and then he'll like play with the beat. He'll stretch it. He'll speed it up, slow it down. Man, Chris Coleman is that dude. I'm telling you, Chris Coleman is that dude. Oh, you're in Georgia? Yeah. Yeah. He's different, man. Oh, but yo, Jig, I stream every day, bro. I stream every day. I stream at least twice a day, every day. Like, of course, the morning, and then I'll stream in the afternoon, and then I might do. I might do 2 streams at night. I might, when I say at night, it'll be like, of course, I'll stream in the morning. I'll stream probably like 12, and then I'll stream like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then I'll stream The latest I'll stream is from like 9 to 10 at night. So I stream multiple times a day, you know. Um, you know, I'm home, so, you know, I work from home, so I can kind of stream when I want to. The only difference now is like in the morning, it's just too early. I don't want to wake up my neighbors and what have you. But yeah, you know. Oh, I don't want to wake up, so that's why I play on a practice pad in the morning. But yeah, I stream multiple times a day. I try to get in as much as possible. Because what's separate? Let me tell you something. While you're chilling, and I heard this from a bass player, Anthony Jackson, legendary bass player. While you're chilling, somebody's out there practicing to take your job. They're out there practicing. They don't even know you. They're out there practicing to be better than you. You know what I mean? So, and stuff is cutthroat. You know, and even if it's about, you know, it's like the simplest gigs. You know what I mean? It never stops. Somebody's out there trying to be, somebody's out there trying to be better than you. That's just what it is. How many do I play? I play 4. Yeah, I only stream on YouTube for now. I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch pretty soon, but for now, I only stream on YouTube. I used to stream on Rumble. I might go back to it. Instagram, no. And plus, Instagram, they flip your videos. Like, you'll have it like, you know, like if you have a right-handed setup, it'll flip everything to like the opposite, you know. So it's like, I don't like that. Like, get my stuff right. TikTok, I don't really have enough followers or likes to stream yet. But yeah, so primarily it's YouTube. YouTube is like the biggest platform. So it's primarily YouTube, you know, for now. TikTok is nice, but you gotta get 11,000 likes and 11,000 followers. You know, YouTube, you just turn on the camera. You need 60 followers. That's it. And you can stream. 60 followers. Boom, that's nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just the lowest entry level. Instagram is janky. You know, Instagram ain't what it used to be since Facebook took it over. So, and Facebook is for when you graduate from high school and you go to college, you get a job, and I wonder what such and such is doing nowadays. So you go on Facebook to meet up with your old friends from high school. Anybody checking for that? You know what I mean? And plus, I streamed on like Facebook just to see what it was, and the platform is just janky. It's horrible. It's like, and we got our internet we got like the fastest, like what's the name of it? It's just basically it's basically light pipe. I can't remember the internet, but it's pretty fast. We got some fast internet. Like, we got the fastest because everybody, like, I got a MacBook that, you know, needs super fast, you know, internet. I got a iMac. I got a Mac Mini, a M1 Mac Mini, and I got a Mac Pro. They all need the internet. Both of my phones need the internet. My wife, she works from home. She needs the internet. She has 2 computers. My kids, they all need it. I have 4 kids. They all need the internet. You know, so, but in spite of that, it's just, Facebook is a janky platform. And plus, man, ain't nobody checking for that, man. You know what I mean? If I go on Facebook, it's our posting goes. I might post a family pic, hey, and then I'm out of there. I don't really. It's kind of whatever. Moon Drums, what's poppin'? What is poppin'? That sounds simple, but it's really hard. Yeah. This one. This one. This one. This one. This is different. This one. This one. If you want to build a recording studio in your home, this one. And it does keep the peace. This one. And for those who can't read, they can't sight read, this one. And if you want to learn another instrument like guitar, I suggest this. If you're a drummer, I suggest learn another instrument. Learn a melodic instrument so you can get your ideas across. You can write your own music, because there's nothing worse than being a drummer who can't write music to the... Put it this way. The best way for people to hear you play drums in the context that you should be heard is for you to write your own music, and then people can say, oh, okay, because if you're not writing, if you're playing somebody else's stuff, they're dictating the context in which you should be heard. And you should never do that. Nobody should dictate how you should be heard. You should dictate how you should be heard. That's why I suggest, like, you know, play an instrument, play guitar, play piano, play bass, play the sousaphone, I don't know. Play, you know, the squeeze box, the accordion, like something. Something that's gonna give you some sense of melody. That's kind of why Chris Coleman went to Atlanta Institute of Music and he learned bass, because he wanted to know something else besides drums. He wanted to know. He wanted to learn a melodic instrument. And you know, he's right. You know, I'm like, I've always thought that, like, I don't want somebody telling me how I should sound. Oh, you should play. Don't ever let somebody dictate how you should sound, you know. Ooh. 7 o'clock. All right. Now, I got to get my younger son up, so he's got to work out. I'll be back. Argentina. What's up, my brother? Hernan River Plate Carp. Oh, Hernan. I don't know, Hernan. Because and I like Pearl Jam. I don't know, man. It's kind of, I mean, like, it's kind of rough because, I mean, like, YouTube is strict with copyright. They copyright struck me on my own song. Go figure. You know, I got copyright struck on my own song. And it wasn't even like the song. It was the title. They copyright struck it because of the title. It had the same title as an Oprah Winfrey movie, as if she could actually copyright the word. It was like, you know, it was a song I wrote called Beloved. And they copyright struck it. You know, so, and really what they're doing now, what people are doing now is, like, YouTube is cracking down. Like, I streamed yesterday. I streamed twice yesterday. I streamed at like 8:30 in the morning, playing drums, you know, at church rehearsal. And the only thing, like, I'm in a drum booth, and I'm isolated. So when I'm streaming, the only thing you're seeing me and you're hearing me play drums, and you can see people out. You can see like a bass player and a guitarist outside of the plexiglass, but I'm in there and I'm isolated. Like, I can hear. I have in-ear monitors, so I hear everything that's going on. But on my phone, like, you know, that I'm using to record, you can't hear anything but drums. I got copyright struck. You know, I'm on there this morning. I'm like, yo, why they copyright strike me? You can't hear anything else. It's crazy, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. YouTube is doing too much with that. You know, I was just watching a stream with a guy. He does ambient guitar music. They copyright struck a 30-second chord, not the song, a chord. And I personally, I think he went about it the wrong way. He said, hey, you know, I think this is a mistake, blah 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 blah. So he appealed it. You know, a quick Google search like will let you know you can't copyright a chord. You can't. You can't. Chords are too common. Like that. That's like copywriting words. You know. But I listened to it. He played the part, and I listened to it, and I was kind of like, you can't. That's a standing chord. You can't copyright that. So you out of here, Raheem? Nah, I don't do Billie Eilish. Sorry. I don't really listen to her music. But I mean, no offense. I'm sure she's a great artist, but I just don't. It's not my taste. I like the production, but it's not my taste. And to be honest, I don't like her as a person. I think she's full of herself. So, you know. Yeah. You know. I think she's full of herself. You know. But yeah, man, they're really, and she's full of herself. She don't know what she's talking about at all. That's the bad thing about it. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I can say that. I'm almost 60. I'll be 60 in like 6 months. You live some life, you start learning stuff. You're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not how life works. So yeah, she says a lot of stuff that's kind of like it's arrogant and it's foolish, and she's famous and everything, and it got to her head. So I'm like, nah, I can't separate the music and the person. I can't. If I don't like your character, I don't like your music. I'm like, yeah, you know. So even in rap, if I don't like your character, rock, rap, whatever, if you're arrogant and you're like making these wild judgment calls and you're like barely in your 20s, sit down and be quiet somewhere. Like, just play music, get out of politics. Nobody wants to hear all your social political leanings. Nobody wants to hear that. Just be quiet and play, or be quiet and sing, you know. So you know. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not, you know, it's. I'm telling you, you get older. Like, a lot, social media will have you mixed up. I'm telling you, it will have you mixed up. All that red pill talk, that's not real life. The red pill community is a bunch of dudes who aren't married talking about how relationships and how your wife is supposed to be. They don't know. Life be lifing. When life starts lifing, you all that red pill stuff, man. No. It's not reality. You know. At the same time, like, a lot of that, like, let me tell you, it's a little secret. All that independent women, blah 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 blah. No one on earth is independent. No one. Everybody got a shot from somebody else. You know. Your independence goes away once you get fired. but you're independent though. You got fired. Okay, if you're independent, make your own money. If you're independent, grow your own food. If you're independent, when somebody breaks in your house, don't call the cops. You handle it. That ain't independent. No, no. Everybody's independent until they need someone. My wife said that. You know what I mean? My wife said that. Everybody's independent until they need someone. You know, all these women talking about, I don't need a man. Okay. Let somebody break in your house. You ain't gonna want to do it. If your man is there, he gonna want to call. You're gonna tell, honey, go downstairs, or you gonna call the cops. You know what I mean? It's the truth. I think people need to embrace what they are, who they are. If you're a woman, embrace being a woman. If you're a man, embrace being a man. Don't be a bully. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I lead my household. I am the leader of my household. What I say goes. I have the final authority. Now, I don't have all the answers. Which is why I married a very intelligent woman. Because I'll be like, honey, I don't know what to do. What do you think we should do? And she'll say, well, I think we should do A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. That's a good idea. That's what we're doing. But that's kind of, that's part of being a leader, knowing when to be humble enough to be like, I don't know. Because nobody has all the answers, man. Nobody has the answers. But at the same time, you have to be okay with being the bad guy if it means for the betterment of the whole family. And like, for instance, there's certain things that I've had to put my foot down on in terms of my family. And at first my wife didn't agree with it until years later, and she saw the fruits of it. She's like, oh, now I see why you said that. Because I don't want to get into specifics, because it's personal family stuff. But a lot of times you'll see the end result. The strength of men is we can see the end from the beginning. If we see a situation, we can see it play out in the end result. We can see the whole forest. Women can see the individual trees and the details and all of that stuff. They can see that stuff. They're both needed. My wife, as soon as, we moved in this house, she's like, look, I want this, I want that, I want this. She's in charge of all the details. I stay out of it. She planned our wedding. I was just like, here, money, 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 money. She planned all the details. I'm like, okay, well, this is the end result, the marriage, of course. But, my point is, men, we see the whole forest. Women see the trees. Now, the gift of seeing the whole forest is when you enter the forest, you can see way over there. You see where you're going. You can see the end from the beginning. Women, now the problem with seeing the end from the beginning is men will knock down the whole forest to try to get to the end, whereas women will say, no, there's a path here. We need to take that path. We need to take that path. We need to take that path. And they won't know which direction to go. They'll be like, okay, we're going. And that's when the man, the husband is like, okay, we're going in this direction. Okay, cool. Well, then we take this path and we take this path and watch out for that tree. And that's poison ivy. But like, women know all these details. You know what I mean? So, but my point is, we both need each other. Nobody's independent. You know what I mean? So, it's just a life lesson, But I'll say this. With all of the details that women take in, they can get easily overwhelmed. That's when a man has to come in and say, hey, honey, slow down. We're trying to get over here. Okay, let's reset. Let's refocus. Blah, blah, blah. We're trying to get over here. Whereas, like I said, man, we'll burn down the whole forest to get to the other side, which is pointless. Night in Tunisia. I've heard it. I don't think I could play it. I mean, I'm sure if I've heard it before. I'm sure if I sat down and just listened to it, or had the sheet music, I could play it. So, but it's not a song that I've necessarily learned, so I can't really just, I can't really just play it. But yeah, so there's a reason why I married a very intelligent woman. Because I know I don't have all the answers. I know that. I'm acutely aware of that. And I need somebody who's considerably smarter than me in other areas. So, like for instance, I never went to college. I always got her master's degree. So, she knows the game. She knows the college game, And I wanted our kids to go to college. And she was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, do this. Like, I don't know all that stuff. My wife knows all that stuff. So, but yeah, so like, and all the guys out there, you're looking for a wife, find a smart one. She'll make your life easier. I'm telling you, she'll make your life real easy. Marry a smart woman and allow her to be her. Don't try to mold her into something else. Let her be her, But you got to make sure she's the right one, And the reason why I say that is like her character. You know what I mean? You got to make sure she's a woman of character, Because then, like my wife, I don't got to worry about how she dresses. I don't got to worry about her hairstyle. I don't got to worry about her wearing revealing stuff because she's a woman of character. She's like, no, I'm not going to just show my stuff everywhere. And my wife was a dancer. She danced from the time her mother was a dance instructor. There's pictures of her on the internet, like with her and her mama when my wife was 3 years old. She was dancing, like ballet and modern dance and whatever. So she has a very athletic, not like, she's got like a tennis player's body, or a cheerleader's body. You can tell she's athletic, but not like, she's got a really nice body. But her conviction is, I'm not showing my goods to everybody. It's nobody's business. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by a woman of character, And her thinking is like, look, I believe that my husband should lead me, So she wanted to find the right guy. She's not going to just get some bum that's going to lead her into a life of misery, So she was a woman of character and she was looking for a man of character. So, I know this ain't got nothing to do with drums. It's a lot more important than drums, but. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Slime, no, you're good, bro. You're fine, bro. I don't, you're fine. I was yapping it up, so of course you're like, hello. You know what I mean? So, you check out them shorts. Which shorts? Oh, you said how do I make money, make a living? Just freelance work. Just freelance work. Jingles, theme music, Plus I have my own work. I've got my own music, but just jingles, music for commercials, and like I want to start doing film scores eventually, but for commercials and stuff like that, yeah, If you're an artist, it's probably where you should go for now, until this whole streaming garbage is like straightened out. Because you're not gonna. Let me tell you something. I went gold on Spotify. If you sell 100,000 hard copies, that's gold. Like, you sell 100,000 CDs or 100,000 downloads. Like, 100,000 people actually download your music. They download your files. That is gold. The equivalent of that in the streaming, DSPs, digital streaming platforms, the equivalent of that is 500,000. 500,000 streams or 500,000 plays is gold. Now, had I sold $10, okay, my albums on average, they have 14 songs. I released 3 albums, 2 EPs, and I've got like 5 singles. So I went gold. I streamed like 562,000 streams. Had I went gold and I sold my album as digital downloads for $10 a piece, or I sold vinyl for $10 a piece, and I only got $1 off of every sale, I'd be up $100,000. I streamed 5 times that, a little over 5 times that, and got $2,300. It's not worth it, So my next move is, I'm gonna have a website where you can digitally download the songs. If you want a song, you pay 99 cents. You download the files. Well, you'll download a zip file. In the zip file, you'll have the song, but I'll also have all the individual instruments panned out. So you not only get the songs, you can listen to the song, whatever, but you could take those individual files, import them into whatever DAW you're using to record. You can slap them up, flip them, rub them down, do whatever, reverse them, and you can manipulate it to make your own music. You know what I mean? So I'm on there. I'm going to sell merch. I'm going to, offer like lessons. I'm actually coming up with a series called Drums and Life, but as far as digital streaming platforms, and the stuff I have that I'm going to put on my website is not going to be available on digital platforms. So, I've played on other people's stuff, so, but it's like, DSPs ain't the wave. It's not the move. You're not going to make money. That's why a lot of people are just leaving because there was a point in time where if you were independent, don't expect to get heard on the radio, but you can make a lot of money, because the bigger the machine behind you, the more money it's going to sap out of the product you're selling. But it's just like the price per stream has been dwindling, and it just ain't worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? This botting, you know what I mean? If you're paying attention to the whole Drake thing, he's suing Universal Music for botting Kendrick Lamar's album. But Drake has been taking advantage of the same thing that he's proposing Universal did to Kendrick. They've botted his stuff. They've pushed his stuff. They've tweaked the algorithm to push his stuff higher. You know what I mean? And if you're not Taylor Swift, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, or somebody else, Nicki Minaj, or, you know what I mean, or whoever, they're not. Or Billie Eilish, or whoever. You know what I mean? It's all a facade. It's all fake. So Mr. Big Ben, what is poppin'? My brother, Mr. Y'all go to his his channel, Mr. Big Ben. Go sub to him. Yeah. 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 Because I mean, like, because for me, let me tell you something. I came up in the vinyl era, and it was no way you could, like, you just had to kind of block out what the original drummer was doing to kind of, you know, come up with your own stuff. And I didn't want people to kind of have to do that. So I would rather you get the song, plus you get all the individual tracks. So you can take out the drums, you can do what you want. If you're a bassist, you can take out the bass, do what you want. If you're a guitarist, you can take out the guitar, do what you want. If you want, and I'm not, it's my music. I'm not big on, I'm gonna copyright strike you. I don't care. You paid for it. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? You already paid for it. What you do with it is your business. That's like Focusrite. I have a Focusrite interface. That's like Focusrite getting mad at me because I'm using their product to stream on YouTube. I bought it. I can do what I want with it. Like, you don't have a right to tell me. You know what I mean? So if you pay 99 cents for my music, you bought it. You can do what you want with it. You can wipe your butt with it. You can do what you want with it. You bought it. You know what I mean? So all that copyright stuff, whatever, man. I ain't got time for all that. I think it's foolish. You know, it's greed. It's just foolish. I just want to get paid for my music. You know what I mean? And streaming ain't the wave. And not only that, I'm a firm. I know I'm talking too much. I'm a firm believer in the same thing you went through when you came up. You got to understand that other musicians are going through the same thing. Have some compassion. Be fair. I'm not gonna, cause you know, if you're a musician and you're coming up, the way you learn is you learn everybody else's stuff. You learn all kinds of, you're copying everybody else's stuff to build your own vocabulary. Everybody goes through that. So for me to not allow the next generations of musicians to be able to do that, that's like, I mean, like, that's kind of like stank. That's messed up, you know? Thank you. Yeah. Because it's money, you know? It's a money grab. Would you say, I think traditional grip is underrated? Well, I don't think it's underrated. I think it's underutilized because of the nature of the American drum set. There was a point in time where it's just easier. It's easier. Now, but the problem with that is, a lot of times you have to turn your snare like this. Got to turn it. You know, this was the marching band. You know, if you look on this book, it's tilted to the side. So that's what traditional grip is for. But, and even now, marching band, they have harnesses where it's flat. So you can play match grip. You know, now if you're playing drum set and then you have to tilt your snare forward. I see guys, they play traditional grip. They have to tilt their snare forward. It's weird with your snare tilted forward, but this is flat and this is flat and this is flat. I've seen guys like, look at guys like Keith Carlock. He plays traditional grip. His snare is tilted forward. His toms are completely flat. And his floor toms are tilted this way. He's got 2 floor toms. They're all tilted like this. I'm a proponent of being ready at all times. And most, if you're going to an open jam session or you're going to wherever, like especially at an open jam session, or you're going to a shed or something like that, a shed session, you can kind of get away with it. Open jam, they're not gonna let you move the kit around and all of that stuff. You gotta play what's there. And a lot of times you get gigs just by going to open jam sessions, because they can see you play. And it's like, oh, okay, this guy's good. Hey, bro, who you playing with? Hey, I got some stuff. You want to play on it? What do you charge? Blah, blah. You know what I mean? But if you're going in there talking about moving, they'll kick you off. They'll be like, bro, what are you doing? No, yeah. So I think it's not used as much because just the nature of drums have really, you know, in the configuration, it just doesn't lend itself necessarily to, you know, for you to go over this guy's place and play his kid, or like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense on the modern drum set. It just doesn't make sense. Now, do I play traditional grip? Of course. But I'll play traditional grip a lot of times just for the feel, and for the mindset. It's a lot easier to put yourself in the place of, especially with jazz. It's easier to put yourself in the mindset of jazz when you're doing this. You know, so, but generally, I don't think it's underrated. I just think, you know, times change, you know. So, and I think guys, you know, the really, really good guys, they know you. Like for instance, brushes. Now, even with brushes, people don't use, because music has changed. And people don't use brushes as much anymore. I use brushes, but I try to use them in a different way. Not so much in the, you know, but I might be like, you know, as more of a sound effect, than anything. But yeah, I don't think it's underutilized. Mel Taylor, yeah, I've seen him, Patricia. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Maddie, exactly. Mm. Hold on, guys. What's going on with my son? What is he doing? Davis! What are you doing? You've been doing it for a half hour. Come on, bro. Mm. Mm. That's a hard transition. I'm so used to doing this. Yo, put on that 60-pound pack and do stairs. 4 sets of 12. And do with the pack, do like 3 sets of 20 calf lifts. My left hand is way stronger. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you. But you know what? I'm about to bounce. Cause that phone's about to go dead. All right, you guys, I'll be back. Dink.